the gates of Royal Lodge stand half open, framed by autumn light and silence. Beyond them, the lawns of Windsor stretch into a stillness that feels heavy with history and consequence. For 2 decades, this house has been the private refuge of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. But now, that quiet sanctuary may be coming to an end. The question echoing through Windsor's corridors is no longer if they will leave, but where they will go. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. In recent months, the Crown's patience has thinned, and the public's tolerance has nearly vanished. Prince Andrew, long stripped of official duties and military honors, has faced a slow and relentless unraveling, not through proclamation, but through quiet exclusion. His name has become a weight that even the monarchy struggles to carry. And now, reports suggest that exile, in everything but name, may be the final act. According to royal biographer Andrew Loney, the disgraced Duke and his ex-wife are weighing what could be their most consequential move yet, leaving Britain altogether. Probably, Loney told Hello magazine, he's being encouraged to go to his palace in Abu Dhabi or to take up a Swiss nationality. The remark is measured, yet it lands with significance. In royal language, encouraged is often code for urged to disappear. For years, Royal Lodge has been both fortress and fault line. Set in Windsor Great Park, it's a 30-room mansion filled with memories of privilege and decline. Once home to the Queen Mother, it became Andrew's domain in 2003, secured under what was described as an ironclad 75-year lease with the Crown estate. That contract made him almost immovable, a prince without duties but with a deed. But the world outside those gates has changed. Since his association with Jeffrey Epstein became public, every aspect of his private life has become a public reckoning. His financial affairs, his friendships, his presence at royal events, each is a reminder of how far he's fallen from grace. Even Sarah Ferguson, long seen as a figure of loyalty and redemption, has been drawn back into the storm. Once again, her past ties to Epstein, including a now infamous email in which she referred to him as her supreme friend, have resurfaced. She claimed it was an act of desperation to protect her daughters after a threatening phone call, but the damage remains. And now, both find themselves cornered by consequence. Reports from the Daily Mail and the Times indicate that King Charles, their brother and former brother-in-law, has been urging Andrew to vacate Royal Lodge for some time, even before the latest wave of scandal. The king, ever diplomatic in public, is said to have offered Frogmore Cottage, the former home of Harry and Meghan, as a downsized alternative, but Andrew has refused. The reasons are part pride, part survival. Royal Lodge is his last symbol of belonging, the only reminder of a status that has long since evaporated. To leave it would be to admit the end of the York legacy as it once stood, privileged, visible, royal. The legal details complicate everything. The lease, signed 2 decades ago, gives Andrew a long-term hold on the property as long as he maintains its upkeep. In practice, this means that even a king cannot simply evict him. But Charles can do something subtler. He can close the tap of royal support. A friend of the king, quoted by the Times, put it bluntly, "If Andrew refuses to leave within a reasonable time frame, the king may be forced to reassess the whole package of support he provides. The Duke would be required to fund his own security, accommodation, and lifestyle, which, given the sums involved, is highly unlikely to be possible in the long term. It is a threat without anger, but it is still a threat." Behind the calm statements and polite briefings lies a simple truth. The monarchy wants distance. The optics of Andrew and Fergie living rent-free in royal grounds while under public condemnation are impossible to defend. And so, the palace has begun to do what it does best: act slowly, quietly, and absolutely. Royal sources say that journalists were recently tipped off to expect an announcement from Windsor, possibly about Andrew's future at Royal Lodge. Cameras gathered, the gates remained closed, and then, without explanation, the palace changed course. There would be no statement after all. The silence said enough. That uncertainty has only fueled speculation that Andrew's time at Royal Lodge is ending by degrees, not with confrontation, but with attrition. Each passing month brings another report of tension, another quiet withdrawal of privilege, another reminder that his isolation is now policy. For Sarah Ferguson, whose public persona has oscillated between scandal and sympathy for decades, this next chapter may finally mean a kind of exile she can control. Biographer Andrew Loney predicts she will probably choose Switzerland, where she has long-standing ties and a history of retreat. For Andrew, the picture is more uncertain. His rumored palace in Abu Dhabi offers both luxury and invisibility, the perfect conditions for a man the world no longer wants to see. It would not be the first time a Windsor sought refuge abroad when scandal made Britain unlivable. Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson fled to France in 1937. Princess Margaret escaped the press through Caribbean retreats. Even Diana, in her final summer, sought sanctuary on the Mediterranean. Royal exile has a long tradition. It simply changes its name with each generation. And yet there is something uniquely modern in Andrew's fall. Unlike his predecessors, he is not being exiled for rebellion, but for reputation. His disgrace was not political, but personal, born not of defiance, but of denial. The monarchy, once able to bury scandal in silence, now fights it in plain view. For King Charles, this crisis is both familial and existential. The royal family he leads must appear united and reformed, a slimmer, cleaner institution for a skeptical public. But the presence of his brother at Windsor, ensconced in privilege and controversy, threatens that image. What was once a family matter has become a branding problem. Behind the scenes, sources describe a kind of royal chess game. The king moves slowly, but deliberately. Each decision, the cutting of allowances, the withdrawal of titles, the subtle public distancing, advances the inevitable endgame. Remove the Yorks from Windsor, and the monarchy can breathe again. Still, the image of Royal Lodge lingers, a house that has become a metaphor for entitlement's last stand. Photographs of the mansion show a stately facade, immaculate gardens, and windows drawn tight. But inside, the reality may feel less regal, a household shrinking, a life retreating. The irony is sharp. Royal Lodge once represented continuity, a family home preserved by tradition. Now, it represents the opposite, a reminder of what the monarchy is trying to outgrow. If Andrew does leave Britain, it will not be framed as exile. It will be described as a personal decision, a choice to seek privacy abroad. But the subtext will be unmistakable, a final act of containment, a quiet erasure rather than a scandalous departure. And so the story ends as most royal stories do, not with spectacle, but with silence. The same silence that fell when cameras waited for a palace announcement that never came. The same silence that now fills the corridors of Royal Lodge. If Andrew and Sarah truly leave, it will be without ceremony, without farewell. No statement, no portrait, no procession. Just two figures stepping into history's margins, one disgraced, one loyal, both relics of a royal past that no longer fits the present. Perhaps this is how the monarchy endures now, not by defending its members, but by outliving them, by turning scandal into distance and distance into forgetting. Royal exile in the 21st century no longer means ships and foreign shores. It means unanswered calls, withheld funds, and the quiet persuasion of inevitability. Somewhere behind the gates of Royal Lodge, a decision is already being made. Whether in Windsor, Switzerland, or Abu Dhabi, the story of the Yorks seems destined to end far from the home they once called their own. And, as the lawns of Windsor fade into winter, one question remains. When the crown chooses survival over blood, what is left of family at all?